in order to be, you know, I had a professor say something to me one time in college, and this is when I knew I wasn't going to be an engineer, was that he said, at this point in your collegiate career, you should be thinking like an engineer. You know, there should be a point where you're just a student, and then and in your transition you think like an engineer. So I knew that at that time I wasn't thinking like an engineer, I was thinking like a music industry person, because at the time, you know, I was so obsessed with the music industry. You know, I went as far as to, you know, find out where all the major trade magazines were, and I read them and learned every single person that was in there, whether he was a program director, music director, radio jock, mixer. You know, I was so obsessed. It was a passion that I developed, where I kind of knew at that point that I was supposed to do this. You know, and I don't think if you don't have that passion, you know, then it's just really a hobby for you. You know, but you know, I think you know at times when you're supposed to be doing something, because it's like you can't think straight without doing it. You know what I mean? And I think there was a point where I was so obsessed with the music industry where, you know, my mentor used to tell me I used to call him every day. You know, and he was just like, you know, you would just call me, and I don't know why you're calling me, but I would answer the phone anyway, and that's when I knew you really wanted to do this. So that's how I ended up getting the opportunities. You know, it's funny, but you know, when I first started out in the music industry, I was a college rep, and then for many years for Def Jam, and then went to work at Def Jam in their office as an intern and street team. You know, there was no major in this stuff, you know, that you can get a master's degree in the music industry, where, you know, before, you know, you learned from experience and being a volunteer, a free volunteer, where you hoped you got something to eat at the end of the day. Most of the time you didn't. So, you know, I think that experience from a lot of my colleagues that kind of came up that way, we were able to get really hands-on and dirty, because the application of the music industry is a lot different than the theoretical side that you learn in school. So I would tell a 17-year-old, hey, go and study your music business classes, but then actually go and apply it, actually go and work, and don't be afraid to be an assistant, don't be afraid to be an intern or work on a street team, and actually really learn the industry from experience. You know, I think one of the problems that a lot of people have is that they are so quick to want to be an executive or to be a poppin' producer, but they don't take the time to actually learn. I mean, listen, you know, guys like Timbaland and Pharrell and all them, they worked up under a lot of producers before they got on. You know, they were very unknown, but their music was very known, and it had to be something to listen to the radio and listen to somebody else get credit for your music. But look what it helped them get. Look where they ended up. You know, I mean, Pharrell, for, you know, more than 15 years, consistently has created music that dominates the radio. And I don't think that opportunity that he had back in the day, working under Devontae and all those other producers, if he hadn't had that opportunity, I don't think he'd be at where he was. Same with Timbaland. You know, these guys learn the game hands-on. So I think a 17-year-old or 18-year-old should project their career, but I think there's also a amount of activity that you have to do just to really learn it. My name is Rashidi Hendrix, based in New York City. I oversee a company called Metallic Entertainment, which primarily is a entertainment management company in film and television, as well as music.
And how old is that company?
The company's 3 years old.
And what led to the decision to start your own enterprise?
I was producing TV shows, maybe probably, I would say, up until I started the company. I've had a really successful career working on The Apprentice, Kitchen Nightmare, and, you know, dozens of reality shows like the MTV Awards, MTV Movie Awards, America's Best Dance Crew. And, you know, I think I got to the point where I didn't like freelancing as a producer, and I wanted to do something that kind of encompassed all the talents that I had from when I started off in the music industry, and became a music publisher, and then went into television. So I thought there was a way I could do both, but in a perfect sense, it mostly was the combination of creating my own business, which I did.
And what was it like, your transition from traditional music publishing into television? What led you towards that? Was that just opportunities knocking?
No, I actually was really pursuing music supervision. Like, I went really hard, and I pretty much knocked on every door I could, did all the research, and during that particular time, music publishing companies I was working for, I actually was very involved with the music placements and shopping of records, which allowed me to meet a lot of music supervisors, and it also allowed me to kind of find out more about the industry of music supervision. So, you know, I really, you know, for about 4 years pursued it really hard, and then got an opportunity with MTV. Rob Love, who definitely gave me my first job in the music industry, Kevin Lyles, who actually kept me at Def Jam, you know, just stomping up in his office telling them that I was going to work there. And, you know, guys like him, and, you know, a good friend, Baja, also. And, you know, I think mentors kind of develop by just talking to them and not really saying, hey, you're going to be my mentor. You just, you get an opportunity, and then as you grow, they grow. And then they always look back and say, hey, what are you doing? Okay, cool, well, maybe you should try this. And it's that person that gives you that advice that is usually going to be your mentor. Cool. You know what I mean? So it's never really a thing that you find. I think that they find you, and they see you, and they say, you know what, I see this young guy, I'm going to take him under my wing, and I want to work with him. And I think that there are a lot of people that have always gave me good advice, but I think a mentor is somebody that's special, somebody that really actually is concerned with your well-being and is going to help you and direct you. Because helping you is one thing, but then directing you is another. But there's a lot of people that help me. You know, guys like Gio Bivens, you know, Dee Sonoram, Michael Kloster, you know, Bill Brown. These are guys that helped me. You know, they gave me jobs, or they just cared enough to talk to me. You know, Shanti Das, Dolly Turner, you know, Ellie Reed. These guys just took time to talk to me. You know, that meant a lot to me at the time. You know, it just, you know, people that actually cared. Shakir Stewart. People that just cared, you know. Sometimes that's all you want. You just want somebody who cares.
Yeah.
You know?